Epiphany Sunday, and it is the tradition on Epiphany Sunday to read the story of the Magi. In the time of King Herod, after Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, wise men from the east came to Jerusalem, asking, "Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star at its rising, and we've come to pay him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was frightened, and all Jerusalem with him. And calling together all of the chief priests and scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Messiah was to be born. Well, they told him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for so it has been written by the prophet. And you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, and from you shall come a ruler who is the shepherd of my people Israel." Then Herod secretly called for the wise men and learned from them the exact time when the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, saying, "Go and search diligently for the child, and when you have found him, bring me word, so that I may also go and pay him homage." When they had heard the king, they set out, and there ahead of them went the star, and as they had seen it at its rising, until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, that the star had stopped, well, they were overwhelmed with joy. And on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary, his mother, and they knelt down and paid him homage. Then, opening their treasure chests, they offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they left for their own country by another road. Thus ends the reading of the word.
Thanks be to God.
In Matthew's story of the Magi, we hear the travelers attempting to explain to King Herod why they had come to Jerusalem. They refer to the star they observed at its rising as, meaning its first appearance in the sky, its rising. They refer to that star as his star. And they have come in search of the one who belongs to the star. And to Herod, they use the one who is born King of the Jews. Oh, people, if we were first century readers, we would react immediately to that line. Our shoulders would tense up and we would feel the tension that such a statement from unknowing foreigners would raise. It isn't good diplomatic form to stand before the current and reigning King of the Jews and say, "We came looking for the newborn King of the Jews to pay him homage." Are you with me? It's like going to President Obama and say, "By the way, we just dropped in because we're looking for the new President of the United States who was born the other day." Huh? No comment. Matthew's story reveals that Herod is frightened. He's taken aback by the Magi's announcement. And for emphasis, Matthew writes, "And all of Jerusalem was frightened with him." Well, excuse me. I doubt that Herod would have made the Magi's claim public. "Hey, everybody, guess what? These people came in here and they're looking for the new King of the Jews. That's me." He was ruthless, but he wasn't stupid. Anyway, Herod gets his own chief priests and scribes together and orders them to find the Messiah that the Magi are speaking of. There are most definitely elements in this story, I would say, of total and complete fantasy. The Magi are smart enough to realize that they have maybe touched off an international incident. And when Herod asks them to go and search diligently of the child, they do just that. They find the child, they give him gifts, and they return home, avoiding Jerusalem at all cost. One of the main characters in this story, we always concentrate on the Magi, but one of the main characters in this story is the star. It's the star. All sorts of attempts have been made to explain the star's presence. Scholars have asked if this may have been, well, the sighting of what is called today Halley's Comet. Someone back then cited that comet. It was seen in the year 12 BCE. Other astronomers and astrologer types have suggested that the Bethlehem star wasn't just one star, but it was a congruence of bright heavenly bodies. We don't know. Nobody took a picture. They didn't have a cell phone. In those days, astral phenomena were believed by many to be signs from God, signs that something important was happening. There's a story in Numbers, and there are lots of people who refer to a segment of the story in the book of Numbers. They call it the star prophecy. And it comes out of a story between two men in Numbers. A very interesting story. If you want to read it, I would suggest go ahead. Numbers 22 to 24. It's kind of a fun story. The two people involved in this story are a wicked diviner, magician type guy by the name of Balaam, and the king of Moab, whose name is Balak. Now, Balak is a little tired of the Israelites roaming his territory. The Israelites have been wandering for 40 plus years. They've been sojourning in Moab. And Balak, the king of Moab, is tired of the Israelites sojourning in Moab. And what he wants is he wants Balaam, the wicked, naughty diviner guy, to curse them. Now, Balaam is unscrupulous and he'll do anything for money. So, as he's on his way to Moab to take Balak up on his offer, he's beating his donkey. Not a nice guy. Beating his donkey, and there's an angel that appears to him on the road, and the angel that appears to him on the road makes the donkey able to speak. And the donkey says, he's beating me. He treats me really, really bad. And Balak is shocked that the donkey says to him, could you do me a favor and stop beating me? And the angel, then what the angel does is the angel zaps Balak and will not allow him to curse anybody anymore. So here, it zaps Balaam. So here Balaam is coming to Balak to get paid to curse the Israelites. And the problem is that the angel has made it impossible for him to curse them. So every time he opens his mouth with his divinations, it comes out as a blessing. I don't know if he got paid or not. But in the fourth oracle, there is this section of text that is often used to talk about the Bethlehem star, and it's called the star prophecy. It reads like this: I behold him, but not near. A star shall come out of Jacob. A scepter shall rise out of Israel. And here's the kicker that really ticked off Balak. And batter the brow of Moab. Wait a minute. And destroy all the sons of tumult. So what was to be a curse on Israel turns out to be a blessing on Israel and a curse on Moab. That's the star prophecy. Now, this prophecy has been taken by some to refer to the Bethlehem star. In my opinion, using anything said between Balaam and Balak is reaching, really reaching. So, ignore that. Trying to sort out factual evidence or proofs of his star is like trying to figure out how Jesus turned water into wine or how he walked on water. It's just like Peter saying, and that to the walking on the water, Jesus, Lord, if it is you, command me to come to you on the water. Well, that's just another way of saying, I need proof that you are who you say you are, and not some ghostly apparition walking on the Sea of Galilee. there are no proofs about the Bethlehem star. But what is true is that we are all awed and inspired by stars. They fascinate us. They fill us with wonder about the universe. The stars and the heavens have guided humanity all across the earth and the sea. Before there were instruments, sailors read the stars to find out where they were in the great oceans and where they were headed. There are neighborhoods, did you know, in this neck of the woods, here in the desert, that are no streetlight zones. That's so that the streetlights don't interfere with us looking up at the night sky and seeing the stars. To be referred to as a stellar employee is a great compliment, because it means we are outstanding in our work. To be a Hollywood star has been the fulfillment of a performer's dream. In 1979, when I was struggling to make a decision whether to marry my fiancé or go to seminary in California, the gentle and very wise man who was counseling me at the time said, "You seem to be reaching for a star. Reach for it and follow it." According to Matthew's story, the Magi were drawn to his star. For them, this was the astral phenomenon that signified the coming of God's Messiah. Only in Matthew's gospel are these Gentile foreigners the messengers of the Epiphany. The Epiphany, meaning the sudden and striking realization that God's Messiah has arrived, made manifest in the Christ child. If you can for a moment imagine that these foreign scholars have no idea what kind of a reception they're going to receive in Israel. Will they be welcomed or will they be driven away? They see their journey as innocent enough, but they turn out to be Matthew's foils. For through them, King Herod's ruthlessness is revealed, and we are snapped out of our reverie. We know that the Epiphany triggers a threat and a negative response. His star signals the birth, his birth, and his doom. The star of wonder, the star of light, the star with royal beauty blight, the westward leading, still proceeding star is guiding us to its perfect light, to the King and God and sacrifice. In our world today, that Christmas star, that Bethlehem star, tops many a Christmas tree. It is embraced as a symbol of Jesus' birth, but it is more than that. Too many people want to cling to the Christ child, to the baby Jesus as the symbol of God's love. The people who come to church on Christmas Eve and Easter morning are rarely, if ever, found in sanctuaries on Good Friday. But we only need examine the gifts brought to the Christ child by the Magi, one of which was myrrh, the bitter perfume that breathes a life of gathering gloom and conjures the image of the man of sorrows, bleeding and dying, sealed in a stone-cold tomb. His star beckons to us to read and consider the whole story, embracing God's full intention for humanity and Jesus the Christ. Last Monday night, I went to visit some gal pals who I hadn't seen in many years, and I stayed the night at my friend's house in Pomona. I slept on one of those blow-up beds in her living room. The living room window didn't have any curtains, no curtains drawn. So as I lay on the airbed, I could look out the window at the night sky. I was very, very sleepy. But I caught the image of a singular, bold star attached to the handle of the constellation Ursa Minor. It was Polaris, the North Star, shining so very brightly that I wondered if that could have been the star that shone so brightly in the Magi's night sky 2,000 years ago. My eyelids were heavy with sleep, and for a few moments as my eyes caught sight of the star that topped my friend's little tabletop Christmas tree. I wondered at the brightness of the star beyond it in the night sky. Had I seen his star in the sky, or was it the star on the tree? It was in that moment that I realized that the star I followed back in 1979 wasn't my star, but his star. And it was brought, and it has brought me so far to you, and to this place, and to this time. Also back in 1979, the International Star Registry came into being. It was a company that had a very bright idea. That idea was to sell stars. Then and now, a multi-million-dollar idea. For a price, you can name one of the stars in the heavens after someone you love. The person gets a certificate and a star number and a star map showing exactly where their star is in the sky. What a unique gift, I thought. What a great idea. Always looking for different gifts for loved ones, I bought my little sister a star for Christmas that year. I bought my younger brother, Tim, a redwood tree in Humboldt National Forest. If I remember correctly, my sister's star is one of the very first Elizabeth stars. My younger brother's redwood is named Timber. To commemorate this Epiphany Sunday, and I'm serious here, to commemorate this Epiphany Sunday, 2015, and our sanctuary's 50th anniversary year, I bought you all a star. I did. I bought you a star. Your star's name is UMCPS Yes. I requested that it be as near as possible to Polaris, the North Star, on the star map, so that when you look up at the night sky at your star, you can ponder the closeness of your star and his star, your life and his life. The map and the certificate will be arriving probably this week. We'll put it in the fellowship hall, so you'll know right where your star